Penguins are back at home after a 1-3-1 trip out west. It ended with a 4-2 loss at Vancouver the other night. So you look at that, they have some issues with regard to minus players. Chris Letang, who continues to be a really good offensive dynamic on their power play, and you know what he can do, but he's a minus 16. That's the worst mark in the NHL right now. Ron, are you concerned about that? A lot of people don't like to put much stock in plus-minus, but he was on the ice for all 4 goals the other night in Vancouver.
Well, I don't have to say it. He said it. He's not playing well. I don't know if it's trying to come back from this injury. But, Bob, I got to be honest. I have a hard time getting upset about anything that happens in hockey in late October, early November. I think of where they were when Sullivan took over in mid-December, where they were where Dan Bylsma took over in January. I have a pretty good feeling we're not going to remember any of these games or losses 10-1, 7-1, touchdown here, touchdown there, come April. Now, you know, get in the playoffs, be playing well. Jim Rutherford's going to do something with this roster. I don't know that it's going to be now, but he will do something. I have a hard time getting excited about the first 16 games of a hockey season.
I would just say what Ron said, but then that would make for a pretty boring show, so I've got some other stuff up my sleeve here, and one of them is I thought it was important. It's nice to see that against Calgary, not exactly the greatest offensive team in the world, they could still turn in on the second day of a back-to-back. Kind of a comprehensive effort. I thought Tristan Jarry was really good in that game. But to what Ron said, the things I'll remember from early swings through the West Coast or anything like this is like the Malkin to Crosby to Kessel to Gensel Harlem Globetrotters on ice goal that they scored. Like, I remember the moments that are fun to watch that only they can provide in the NHL. And how can you not have faith in the front office and in the team itself to do what's going to be necessary to be right there at the end of the playoffs?
Well, to Bob's first question about Letang, yeah, I'm nervous that he's not going to be able to get back to where he was before he got injured. I do think, though, that the problems with Letang right now are being augmented by the fact that Justin Schultz is out as well. As far as the big picture, what does this mean since it's November and not April for the Penguins? Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that, but beyond the goaltending issues and the defensive woes, the fact that they're not scoring and there's not a lot of signs of gelling and coalescing with the lines right now, that does concern me. And I just hope we don't get into a situation like what we saw with some of the previous coaches that were mentioned, where frustration sets in, they tune out a coach who we've all thought to this point doesn't have that capability of being tuned out. But that theory is being challenged so far in the early part of this season.
Tristan Jarry is the backup right now. He wasn't to start the season. It was Antti Niemi. Ron, because it was Antti Niemi, Jim Rutherford obviously felt that Jarry would be better served in the minors playing every day. Now he's here and he won't play every day. Do you like this arrangement? Would you rather see, Chase to Smith up here, or would you rather see them go on and get a veteran?
Well, plan A failed. Go to plan B. I have no problem with him being up here. You got a young franchise goaltender in Murray. I'm not worried about Jarry's development at this point. This team should win now. You need a backup, capable backup. They've loved Jarry. I know he's only NHL games. The other night he was really superb. Rutherford said last year on our radio show that he thought he was ready to be a #1 goaltender this year in the league. It's not going to happen here. I'm not worried about his development, and Murray has to show he can stay healthy. That's been a problem for him. I want Jarry up here ready to go if something happens to Murray.
Trip this week, not having Jarry up to back up Murray from the get-go was silly. I know people feel like you can't question Jim Rutherford about anything, but you can compliment him for being a Hall of Fame general manager and not be a rump swab and suggest that he never makes a mistake. And this was a mistake because there's no reason to groom Tristan Jarry for anything besides being Matt Murray's backup. You just let one franchise goalie go to Las Vegas because you thought this guy was the franchise goalie. So if Rutherford himself said he wanted the backup to play somewhere between 30 and 40 games. Well, Jarry's only played 33 and 45 in his 2 years in the AHL. Split the difference.
Well,
that's right where he would have been.
He's since amended that. He said he could play 30 games.
No,
not
for
that he
Niemi,
necessarily
when he brought Niemi in.
Not that he necessarily wants him to play 30 games. There's no way Niemi was going to play 30 games. I have no problem with them taking a shot at Niemi. It was $700,000. You hope to get a bounce back year. Hopefully, wanting to prove himself. It didn't work out, although I don't blame him entirely for that. They absolutely stunk in front of him. And then we saw what happened when Murray played his first back-to-back game. He stunk too. So it's not just the goaltending, but I'm with you 100%. I'm not worried about developing Jarry. I want to win right now. He helps me as the backup. I want that.
If you're a team that knows you're going to be in the playoffs like the Penguins do, barring catastrophic injuries to multiple persons on this roster, then you can afford to kick the tires on an Antti Niemi, because you know that a game here, a game there early in the season literally does not matter or should not matter to you at day's end. Tristan Jarry playing, I don't know, 18, 20 games, somewhere in that neighborhood, and facing NHL caliber guys in practice, the best NHL caliber offensive guys. That, to me, is a net win. I mean, bottom line here, if he was going to be in the AHL, he was going to be facing kind of scramble drills, sort of unstructured hockey at times. Does that really get you ready for what you're going to see if an NHL team's playing well in front of you, structured hockey? Probably not. I like that he's up here now.
All right. Penguins back home Tuesday night. Rick Tockett's 2-12 Arizona team in town. Good to see Tocchet back here.
2-12-1, Bob.
2-12-1. I won't discount
He did get a
one more
point. He's got 2-12-1. That's 5 points.
All right, 5 points. So we get a Stanley Cup ring when he returns. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our Smooth Moves segment, brought to you by Armina Stone, Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops, Armina Stone. So, Chris Mueller, you go first. What's your smooth move of the week?
Oh, man, you won't believe this one. Sitting on the couch this morning, rainy weather, dog just hanging out, and what did I find on ESPN2? The New York City Marathon. Smooth move, Shalane Flanagan, winning her first marathon ever, winning the first, being the first American woman to, I believe, win New York City since 1977, and she dominated. As a guy that has tried to run like half marathons and you crap out halfway through, watching somebody drive to the finish running 5-minute miles is unbelievably impressive.
Did you just admit you watched the marathon?
Cookie, and when she smiled at the end when she knew she was going to win, I got a little chill. Yes.
I folded T-shirts this morning. I think I was just as entertained.
I'm going to go with Joshua Jackson, the Iowa cornerback who made that unbelievable one-handed interception against Ohio State. Anytime Ohio State loses, that's a smooth move. When someone like that punctuates it with a play like that, you bet it's my smooth move of the week.
The most entertaining game yesterday was Oklahoma State, and Baker Mayfield did what I thought was really impossible 2 weeks ago. Soared above Saquon Barkley as the favorite for the Heisman. 598 yards for Oklahoma, 5 touchdowns. He's number one right now, in my opinion.
All right, that's it. Our Smooth Moves segment of the week brought to you by Armina Stone. Featuring Pittsburgh's largest indoor stone gallery of granite and marble countertops imported from all over the world to give you the smoothest countertops in the area. Score a touchdown with a new granite countertop from Armina Stone. Andrew McCutcheon is up next.